We will call the business session of the August 3rd, 2021 meeting to order at 6 p.m. Welcome to all of our guests and visitors. We provide an opportunity for the public to address the City Council on any agenda item or during the hearing of visitors portion of the agenda. On items other than public hearings, speakers will be allotted one 3-minute presentation regardless of the number of agenda items the speaker wishes to address. If you are here to speak and have not filled out a registration card, please see the city secretary staff at the registration table outside of the auditorium so that staff can contact you if necessary. If you have handouts, please let us know at the beginning of your presentation and staff will distribute those to the council. If you are unable to approach the podium due to physical limitations, a microphone is available to be brought to you. Esmeralda, I believe I have three registered speakers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Great. All right, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We now will, the first item of business is to consider the minutes of the July 20th, 2021 City Council meeting. A copy of the minutes was provided in your meeting packet. Are there any corrections to the minutes as submitted? If none, those will stand as approved. Those will stand approved as submitted. And now we have a special recognition. Mary, I don't want to mispronounce this name. Archambault, am I saying that right? There you go. And Rebecca Shelton with the Texas Historical Commission will present Annette Jones, Nesta Anderson, and Melanie Johnson in the First Street Cemetery Committee with a framed award. The speakers will briefly describe this award of merit, how it was selected by the Historical Commission, and give a brief summary of the First Street Cemetery project. So without further ado, we'll turn this over to the Texas Historical Commission. And you can come to the podium here for that recognition.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and thank you very much to all the recipients of this Award of Merit for your patience. We definitely wanted to make the presentation in person, and we're clearly delayed. I have two sets of information to read, and then I'll present the awards. In 2019, our agency, the Texas Historical Commission, notified the City of Waco that the First Street Cemetery Memorial Advisory Committee, Annette Jones, Nesta Anderson, and Melanie Nichols, were awarded the THC Award of Merit for significant contributions in historic preservation and public outreach through documentation of the First Street Cemetery project. The Award of Merit recognizes the efforts and contributions of an individual or organization involved in preserving Texas's culture and historical resources. So some historical details. The committee, who served between 2013 and 2018, carefully took into consideration the community's input and ideas and consistently provided thoughtful and considerate feedback for the many decisions to be made regarding the reburials. The committee's commitment to honoring the memories of the early inhabitants of Waco, once buried at First Street, is to be commended. Through their guidance, they provided a peaceful resolution for their community. Annette Jones provided legal continuity for the project as it moved through several phases of excavation and the development of a memorandum of agreement among the city, the National Park Service, and our agency, the Texas Historical Commission. While serving as lead archaeologist for the duration of the lengthy project, Nesta Anderson's actions exemplify best practices in historic cemetery management and preservation. Melanie Nichols, a bioarchaeological archaeologist, she analyzed the remains and provided helpful insight into understanding important information about the individuals who were buried once at the cemetery. The Texas Historical Commission and the City of Waco recognize the commitment of each of these individuals to ensure a positive outcome for the impacts at First Street Cemetery, and we commend the example that they provided for future cemetery projects. Truly set a benchmark for resolution of difficult projects and difficult situations which we encounter as our cities grow. I would like to read the names of the committee members. Several of them were able to be here to attend, but not everybody is, and of course, we understand that several are deceased. John Wilson, who served as committee chair, Robbie Brooks, Ed Brown, Norma Kanata, August DuBois, Susan Duncan, Leonard Englander, Robert Gamboa, Tommy Gusendorf, John Hubble, Gail King, Clint Lynch, Andre McDowell, Carl McNair, Arnold Miller, and Willie Stanley. Our agency thanks you, and I would like to present, I've actually got 3 plaques, and then we have letters of commendation for each of the individual members. But I would like to first present the first plaque to the members of the First Street Cemetery Committee who are here in person, or their representatives at this time. The next award that we have is for Annette Jones, former City of Waco attorney, and we would like to present her with her award as well. And the final plaque goes to Nesta Anderson and Melanie Nichols, the archaeologists who served on the project. And I'll present it to Nesta for her and Mel. Thank you to the City Council for allowing us to present these. Much overdue, and we really appreciate the continuing work that the city has provided on this project and the oversight that you continue to give. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thank you for being here. I want to thank the Texas Historical Commission for coming to our meeting tonight and making these presentations, and for this worthwhile recognition, and also the First Street committee members and the others who are here tonight. Annette, it's so great to see you again. And so thank you, everybody, again, for your great work on this project. And with that, we will move to public hearing 2021-502, and Clint Peters, our Director of Development Services, will make a staff presentation.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance abandoning a portion of South 14th Street right-of-way between Park Avenue and Interstate 35 frontage road, described as being a .184 acre tract of land situated in the Thomas Day Chambers Survey, abstract number 7 in the city of Waco, Clinton County, Texas, according to the plat thereof recorded in volume 1791, page 225, deed records, Clinton County, Texas, authorizing the city manager to execute quitclaim deeds, providing a severability clause, and finding a determinate meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. By a vote of 10-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of abandonment based on the following findings and condition. Findings are that public use of the right-of-way is not required for proper flow of traffic or for emergency vehicle access to the area. 2, a utility access for surrounding properties not adversely impacted by the abandonment of the right-of-way. And 3, this portion of the South 14th Street will be removed as part of the Interstate 35 widening project that is currently under construction. We do have one condition, is that all existing water and wastewater easements to be retained by the city of Waco for the area of the abandoned right-of-way, or utilities can be relocated at the developer's expense.
Thank you, Clint. Are there any questions for staff? We will open a public hearing for comments. Is anyone present who wishes to speak on this item? Hearing no speakers, we will close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Motion for approval on first reading.
Second. Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Holmes.
Aye.
Palmer. Aye. Porter.
Yes.
Fairfield.
yes,
Sabino.
Yes.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. We'll move to public hearing 2021-503. And Clint Peters will also be making a presentation for this.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance of the city of Waco, Texas, creating a planned unit development approving the concept plan for the plan unit development and changing the zoning classification from C2 to plan unit development on certain property described as being a 7.02 acre tract of land situated in the TJ Chambers Survey, abstract number 7, City of Waco, McLennan County, Texas, and being all of the tracts A and C and a portion of tract B described in a corrective special warranty deed to DSW Inns LLC, a Missouri limited liability company, recorded in the McLennan County Clerk's Office, file number 2010-008408 of the official public records in McLennan County, Texas. Tract C, further described as Lot 1, Block 1 of the Graves Edition, according to the final plat thereof, as recorded in Volume 919, page 619 of the deed records in McLennan County, Texas, together with a portion of Lot 1, Block 1 of the Equipment Depot Edition, according to the final plat thereof, as recorded in Volume 127, page 821 of said McLennan County records, and located at 4300 South Jack Colgan Expressway, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for penalties, providing a severability clause, and finding and determining the meeting in which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. By a vote of 10-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of the PUD based on the following findings and conditions. Findings are the proposed PUD is consistent with the land use component of the comprehensive plan, and 2, the proposed PUD is keeping with the purpose and intent of the PUD ordinance by providing a high level of urban amenities and design standards while allowing flexibility in the use and development of the land. We do have 7 conditions. 1, the final PUD plan must meet all development standards consistent with the site requirements of Plan Review Committee, including but not limited to the following: site grading and drainage, signage regulations, parking, site coverage, access and circulation, landscaping, refuse location and access, and fire protection location and access. 2, the property shall be platted prior to issuance of all building permits, off-site sewer extension and easement dedications shall be required. 3, the entrance-only driveway off South New Road shall be vacated and removed when the proposed road extension through the adjacent Thanksgiving Park development is constructed. If this road extension remains private, an acknowledgement agreement shall be established with the adjacent property owner of the Thanksgiving Park development regarding a future connection to South New Road. 4, the exit-only driveway that is proposed along the northern boundary line shall remain an exit-only, and use will be limited to truck wash traffic only. 5, a cross-access agreement shall be established for the southern driveway. This agreement shall provide access to truck wash traffic and future traffic for the remaining C2 zone portion of the property. 6, sidewalk is required along the interstate frontage road and New Road. And 7, access to South New Road shall be ride-in driveway only.
Thank you, Clint. Are there any questions for staff? We will open a public hearing for comment, and we do have a registered speaker, David Grash, who is the applicant. Mr. Grash, would you like to speak on this? Am I saying your name right?
Yes, you are. Thank you. I just want to introduce myself. My name is David Grash. I'm the president of Rotojo Incorporated, and I will be the one developing the property. And I just wanted to make myself available to answer any questions or clarify anything that you may have seen already.
Any questions? All right. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this item? Hearing no one, we will close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I move for approval on the zoning change from C2 to PUD based on staff findings and conditions.
Very good.
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Holmes. Aye. Palmer. Aye. Porterud.
Yes.
Fairfield.
Yes.
Sabito. Yes. Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. And we will move to public hearing 2021-504.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, providing that the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco be amended by revising Section 28-247 and Chapter 28 zoning of said code, providing that the zoning map shall be changed at certain property described as Lot 1, Block 6 of the Bagby Addition, known as 1801 South H Street, shall be changed from O2 district classification to become and be designated in the O3 district classification, providing for penalties, providing a severability clause, and finding and determining the meeting in which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. By a vote of 10-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of the request based on the following findings. 1, the proposed zoning is keeping with the land use component of the comprehensive plan. 2, the public infrastructure is adequate to provide for uses allowed in O3 zoning. 3, the property meets all the area and width requirements for O3 zoning, and 4, the proposed O3 zoning is compatible with the surrounding area.
Any questions for staff? We will open a public hearing. Is there anyone here who would like to speak on this item? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. And is there a motion?
I'll move for approval on first reading.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Holmes. Palmer.
Aye.
Porterwood.
Yes.
Fairfield.
Yes.
Sabido.
Yes.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll go to public hearing 2021-505.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing to consider an ordinance amending sections 28-223 and 28-1019 and Chapter 28 zoning of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco, Texas, establishing residential design standards, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing a severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for penalties, and finding and determining the meeting at which the ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. By a vote of 10-0, Plan Commission recommended approval of the ordinance change with the limiting the application of regulations to residential zoning districts, which is section 28-223.01, which we covered at the work session today.
Any questions for staff? We will open a public hearing for comments, and we do have a registered speaker on this, Dr. Alan Northcutt. Dr. Northcutt, would you like to come and speak on this item?
I'll take my mask off. I am fully vaccinated, but trying to follow CDC recommendations. Is this also 3 minutes? I'm a little confused about the time.
Yes,
Is
sir,
it?
3
Okay.
minutes.
All right. I believe it's vital to consistently consider opportunities to cut emissions because we're definitely not on course to reach 50% decrease in greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. Now, the city has taken small steps on solar energy production by the city itself, but no real action has been taken on sectors with greater potential, that is residences and businesses. Now, these residential design standards, as I read them, are mostly about aesthetics, and there's a section that appears to refer to solar and other mechanical equipment on roof, ground, or building that should be screened from public view. Now, they scratched that. That was deleted, which is a positive step for those wanting to do solar. However, what I've noticed personally, and friends of mine, is that there is a negative influence as far as people doing solar installations, and that is local HOAs tell people that they cannot do solar installations if they're a part of an HOA. Now, I wanted to point out that that claim is false, and I have in your handout some of this information. The Texas Property Code, section 202-010, forbids HOAs from prohibiting outright a property owner from installing a solar energy device. And I know multiple people who really believe that they could not do rooftop solar because HOAs had told them they couldn't do it. So I wanted to point that out, that that is not correct. They can impose certain restrictions, but modern rooftop solar systems typically do not violate those restrictions, and that's in your handout as well. So I believe the council should add a statement in this recognizing the vital importance, the legality, and the aesthetic acceptability of solar systems, encouraging residents to take installation. I have a photo included there of my home, and you can see that there's nothing objectionable aesthetically about these. In fact, I think the green electrical boxes that you see in yards are much worse looking, and I don't think HOAs complain about those. And Waco is way behind. We only have 0.2% of eligible roofs with solar compared to California, 7%, Australia, 19%. So if these design standards contain such small aesthetic details as, quote, effects of repetition, end quote, I think having a statement on solar technology, this is something that's vital to the future for our children, should be included. And I have a suggested statement in your handout. And I would just lastly say that you know, if your house was on fire and the fire truck came and was a color that you didn't like, I don't think you would object to that fire truck. You know, science says our planet is on fire. If we can stand a 1%, you know, aesthetic problem with rooftop solar, I think it's well worth it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Northcutt. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak on this item? We will close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval on first reading. Second.
Any discussion?
Jennifer, can you clarify, if we were to include this proposed statement that Dr. Northcutt wrote, how would that affect our process tonight?
Could we do it for second reading? Because I'm interested in having some, looking at it, having some acknowledgement or encouragement as a part of it too.
I think that if we were to address rooftop solar, it might, I'm not sure that's something y'all could say you're adding it on first reading. This is more of an aspirational statement, and ordinances are about requirements. And so I'm not sure this has a place. I'm not saying that y'all supporting solar isn't a good thing. I'm just saying I'm not sure aspirational comments are appropriate for ordinances, which are requirements of developers and homeowners.
Jennifer, is this something that we could look at having a resolution that's a part of the development package or something like that that includes language like this maybe in the future? We could amend the ordinance.
More appropriate way to do that.
I would just, Councilman, I don't want to hijack your commentary. I'm really interested in finding a way to include some encouragement like this as a part of that. So I don't know if there's a future time to do that, but would certainly be open to that.
Yeah, sounds great.
Certainly, I don't, and I would want Clint to address this. I mean, certainly, we could say that nothing in these requirements prohibits solar installation. I don't think anything in the requirements prohibits it already, but we certainly could make that clear if that is more to the council's desire. And if that was part of y'all's motion, Clint could draft that language and put that in for second reading.
Let's look. I would say let's look at the most appropriate way to include some language like this. But I think an encouragement towards the acceptability of this is something that is worth a council discussion. Clint or Bradley, any comments from a staff perspective as well?
No, I think that's a great plan.
And just to clarify the motion, and I'm not sure who the initial mover was, is part of the motion for Clint to come back at second reading with a better definition of landscaping?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, there wasn't that originally, but do I need to modify it? Or?
Yes.
Oh, when we were, you went back to landscaping?
Yeah, remember
Yes.
from the presentation earlier?
Because we talked about it in work session.
Okay, yeah. Well, we might need to change it.
Would you be willing to amend your motion for that, Jim?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So amend your motion to come back with a better definition of landscaping for second reading. And then not a part of the motion is this recommended language, but a future agenda item or future discussion will be on the most appropriate way to incorporate this encouragement to our builders. Is that clear and appropriate?
Yes, sir.
That's how I would like my motion amended.
So moved. I'm trying to get a clear record of this.
Thanks, Dylan.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please poll the council.
Holmes.
Aye.
Palmer.
Aye.
Porter.
Yes.
Fairfield.
Yes.
Sabido. Yes. Meek.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of resolutions 2021-506 through 2021-524. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion for approval on consent agenda?
Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Holmes. Palmer.
Aye.
Porter.
Yes.
Fairfield.
Yes.
Sabido.
Yes.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to ordinance 2021-525.
An ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, changing the boundary limits of the city of Waco through a boundary agreement with the city of Beverly Hills, Texas, providing a severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, finding and terminating the meeting at which this ordinance is passed to open the public as required by law. This ordinance comes to council on first reading.
Is there a motion?
Motion for approval on first reading. Second.
Any discussion? Please pull the council.
Holmes.
Aye.
Palmer.
Aye.
Porterwood.
Yes.
Fairfield.
Yes.
Sabino.
Yes.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to ordinance 2021-526.
The City of Waco, Texas, amending Article 3 sidewalks, curbs, gutters, driveways, and Chapter 22 streets, sidewalks, and certain other public places of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco, Texas, providing that permit fees shall be doubled if work for which a permit is required under Article 3 is started prior to obtaining such permit, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing a severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, providing a penalty, providing for an effective date, and finding and terminating the meeting at which this ordinance is passed to open the public as required by law. This ordinance comes to council on first reading.
Is there a motion?
Motion for approval on first reading. Second.
Any discussion? Please pull the council.
Holmes.
Aye.
Palmer. Aye. Porterwood.
Yes.
Fairfield.
Yes.
Sabino.
Yes.
Meek.
Yes. That motion carries, and we'll move to ordinance 2021-527.
An ordinance authorizing a developer participation agreement with Waco Construction LLC to allow the City of Waco to participate in the total cost for oversizing of improvements required by the city for the Foxborough Addition Phase 9, in an amount not to exceed the total amount of $1,556,132.21, to be paid monthly at an amount not to exceed 40% of this total cost of oversizing of improvements per month, in accordance with Texas Local Government Code Sections 212.071 through 212.074, authorizing the city manager to execute any documents in connection therewith, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing a savings clause, and finding and terminating the meeting at which this meeting with this ordinance is passed to open the public as required by law. This ordinance was approved by a 6-0 council vote on first reading on July 20th, 2021.
Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval on second reading. Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Please pull the council.
Holmes.
Aye.
Palmer. Aye. Porterwood. Fairfield.
Yes.
Sabino.
Yes.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries, and we'll move to the hearing of visitors. During the hearing of visitors section of the agenda, we provide an opportunity for the public to present concerns or address issues that are not matters for consideration listed on the agenda. Council is unable to conduct discussion, but will listen, ask staff to look into concerns, and provide follow-up. Please provide registration information so that staff can contact you if necessary. If you have handouts, please let us know at the beginning of your presentation, and staff will distribute those to council. If you are unable to approach the podium due to physical limitations, a microphone is available to be brought to you. And I have one registered speaker, Mr. Jarrett Stovall. Is there anyone else registered to speak tonight? Okay. Jared, are you here? Great. When called to the podium, please state your name and address for the record. Each speaker must limit comments to 3 minutes. If you're speaking on behalf of the group, which I don't think you are, please have those persons stand up at the beginning. Please not, again, any person making personal, pertinent, or slanderous remarks, or who becomes boisterous while addressing the city council or while attending the city council meeting shall be removed from the room if the sergeant at arms is so directed by the presiding officer. Likewise, unauthorized remarks from the audience, stomping of feet, whistles, yells, or similar demonstrations are prohibited. All right, Mr. Stovall, the floor is yours.
My name is Jarrett Stovall. I own Right Now Electric LLC, which is a electrical contracting business registered with the state and the county here in McLennan, and I do work in this area. So I have probably 10, 12 active permits going on between Hewitt, Waco, Crawford. I'm a busy contractor in the area. You guys are growing. I've been here 5 years. I'm not originally from here. But my concern today, and the concern of one of my customers, is at 1801 Connor Avenue in Waco, Texas. I believe it's District 2. we're just having a really hard time with the inspection process, and it's costing me and my customer a ton of money. And I worry about other small contractors like myself having the manpower and the feasibility to be able to put a man on put a man out on a job to wait on an inspector that may or may not be there that day, can't call you to let you so we can give them access to the house. I mean, it's literally costing me hundreds of dollars every time this happens. Plus, you are taxing me on top of that with another inspection fee, which I think is outrageous. I mean, this reminds me of working in Dallas, which I used to have a contracting business in Dallas doing the same thing. I mean, it's horrible. And my customer is going to file a formal complaint. And if I have to, I'll file one. I talked to the chief inspector today, or I can't remember his name, Chris, I think. But I think something needs to be done because this is affecting small business in your community. I'm a property owner here, I'm a business owner here, and you're holding us up, and you're hurting the customers too. This is a single woman with children trying to fix this house up, and repeatedly has had the same problems as I had. The inspector can't pick up the phone for 5 minutes to let us know when he's going to be there so we can give him access to this property. And I have 9 copies of my active permits in Waco, if y'all want to see that, all highlighted on the jobs that I've had trouble with. I don't think I have enough time to speak about the trouble, but I can promise you have trouble in the inspection department, and I'd like to see something happen. So I'll leave those handouts. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jared. We can't speak on this because it's not posted on the agenda, but I can assure you that our staff will be contacting you and we'll look into the issue.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council tonight? Seeing no one else, we will close the hearing of visitors. Are there any council member reports, committees, boards, commission, liaison visits?
I don't have any, sir. I just appreciate the fact that you all let me have my FCC 2-second delay and not be with you today, but being with you.
I missed you, and I look forward to seeing you in person again soon. I just wanted to remind everyone that we will be having a press conference tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. for a community-wide update on COVID in Waco. Are there any council requests for scheduling of future agenda items? There being no further business, we will adjourn the meeting at 6:32 p.m. Thanks, everybody.